allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Report of any executive sessions,
There were none held.
public comment.
Laura Krasnowski, Pottsville. The city of Pottsville has a long-standing history of knowingly hiring unqualified people. The expectation is that one day the unqualified will magically catch up from behind the eight ball to become qualified. One example was City Administrator Tom Palish, who worked for Schuylkill Community Action to help people get rent and food money and somehow transferred into becoming the city business manager. Nothing in the Schuylkill Community Action program would really allow that to happen if you were qualified. Now we have Justin Tresper of LaBelle, who after approximately 10 years in the codes department is head of that department, although he has not passed any tests, all of the tests required to meet the competency to be in that office. Every day I walk my dogs in downtown Pottsville. I look at the building permits and windows. Oftentimes the permits do not match the work being done. The permit might say electrical work when in fact the building is being enlarged, which means they didn't pay for the right permit. There is work being done without any permit. Skipping and fudging permits in the city, not inspecting work sites after issuing permits, hurts the county as well as the people of Pottsville. Folks report to Pottsville City Council meetings that they make phone calls to the codes department to make reports of work that's being done illegally. They fill out complaints, they send text messages which get ignored for a year. The city appears to have relinquished its legal obligation to uniformly enforce codes. Hence, it relinquishes its Pennsylvania constitutional legal obligation and duty to uniformly collect real estate taxes. The county appears to hold a laissez-faire position, meaning leave it alone, or a policy of minimal county government intervention in Pottsville economy, which oddly impacts the county and the people who play by the rules. When a city knowingly hires unqualified workers, when a county knows of a problem and maintains a laissez-faire position, and the courts fail to administer right and justice without sale, denial, or delay for a period of 10 years, all are in violation of their fiduciary duties to the people of this county and the Pennsylvania Constitution. It becomes highly questionable if we can unfairly collect taxes in this manner and have it be legal. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Morning, George. Good morning. George Stankovich, Palo Alto. Once again, I'm here for senior citizens and the veterans, which are losing their homes right and left. If you haven't noticed, I'll mention it again. There's been so many for sale signs going up. And this isn't even to the point where they're getting really affected by the new increase. Like I said, I had a lady come up to me the other day. She said, now I have made no improvements. My home was assessed, which was probably at the wrong assessed value back then. I know that's what I'm gonna be told, so I'll get it over with. 15,000, and now she's up to $134,000. That's big increase. That's a big increase. My math says that's 9 times higher than what it used to be. I'm telling you, with this full value, I don't care what they say. Guess what? After this assessment year, what do you see what that school tax is going to go up? I'm fed up with the school tax. I know these guys can't do nothing about it, but the school board, now they're asking for $100,000 because they're not getting funds. Why haven't they put 30 years worth? If they would have put $10,000 of their extra money away instead of blurting it all over the place, they would have $300,000 and they wouldn't have to go up and raise our taxes every year. This is ridiculous. I'm fed up with this. And then you get the people that came in, they weren't experts. I told Tim right here today, I want those people to come in their best clothes with their best shoes on and walk across my property. That alone we'll see if my taxes won't come down. But I'm
Wait,
telling
so
you,
the taxes did go down.
oh yeah, oh man, they really went down.
Did they go down?
Oh yeah, $40.
Well,
There you go.
Some people I've
Okay,
seen.
and I didn't like the fact, Larry, this isn't on my time. You said a statement now? I didn't like the fact that you brought that, yours, you wish you had mine. I think you should have just kept your mouth
I didn't
shut.
say which end yours. My
Yeah.
taxes went up.
Yeah, you said you wish you had mine
I
because,
wish mine would have went down.
well, that's right.
That's right.
Well, okay, $40 is chump change, buddy. If I made what you made and you made what I made, you'd be right here with me.
Your taxes went down.
Hey, you'd be right here with me. And don't ever disagree with that,
Your
Larry.
taxes went down.
You make $67,000 here. I don't care if you take it or not. The thing is you can make $67,000 at a part-time job. Okay?
Hey, George.
All right? That's over twice as much as me and my wife get for Social Security. So if you want to balance things out, that's how things should be balanced out. What people make and everything else. And condition of the homes, I'm telling you, these guys just walked across. They probably have my old assessment picture on the thing. I went to one person and they said, that looks like that it's different from what I see on your property right now. I said, yeah, because it's 30 years older. This is ridiculous. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of coming in here and arguing for people that can't afford what they're paying right now. I can't afford it. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of people out there in this county that are gonna lose their homes because of an idiotic situation. And the school tax, the school tax is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It just went way out of line. When you hit retirement age, there should be a set price that they can take for your tax. Ridiculous.
Any other public comment?
Morning. Jeff Dunkel, Palo Alto. There's no update on Stevens.
Nope.
See Teresa's here. Good to see her. I'll mention it when she's here. Unfortunately, there was 4 row office people not here again this morning when I came in, making 67,000 plus benefits to not be here.
The roll officers are about 67,000.
Most of them are 62. Right around
58.
Well,
I'm just
close enough, but
58.
about 90 with the benefits and salaries. Moving on to the reassessment, lots of mistakes, decks, garages, outbuildings, etc. I believe there was even one that had a lakefront view in Frackville. Hard to believe. These are things that you can't see on the camera card, or you can only see on the camera card or on the Vision website. It's not mailed to you. So when you're getting those and they're impacting your reassessment, you have no way to figure that out, like why you're being taxed that way, unless you do the research and look it up. On the camera card, if people are looking up or on the website, it does say Superior View, waterfront view. That's where you have to look to see if it says yes, because that's where people are finding that they apparently have lakefront view in Frackville. The public is not being privy to what the CPEs are using to grade their properties. So if you go onto the camera card of the website, there is a section there for grade or condition. That's very impactful for the grading the property value and the increase in the property value. That's not sent to you. You have to do that research on your own. My property in one instance, the entire block is a D03. My property is a D1 or D+10. They have it mixed up. It's the same variation. Tim confirmed that earlier, which is much higher. A lot of people in that block have more square footage, more acreage, and $50,000 or $60,000 less. Another instance of another property of mine, identical house. It's exactly identical. Square footage, yard, everything is identical. And that's a D03, I'm a D plus 10 or D01. It's mind blowing how these things can be so far off. And when we're told it's going to be fair and uniform, we were also told that we could use the neighborhood numbers to compare it at the appeal. Larry, you were at that meeting when we were told that. Everybody waited for July 1st so that they could see these numbers. Now we're being told we can't use that, it's only sales. Those sales are based on an inflated market, which is going to negatively impact you that way. So we were told one thing, that we could fight it on those numbers, now we can't.
Did you file, Jeff, did you file appeals?
I will be, yeah, definitely.
I'm just asking.
But the thing is, if you, now it's like, if you don't have an appraiser, you're screwed. I mean, you can't use these numbers to compare, you can't fight the grading, he just confirmed to me, you can't fight your grading.
Yes, you can.
Jeff,
Yes.
you might not be able to get an appraiser, but you're gonna take the hearing, you're gonna have it. If you're not happy with the reasoning, then you can take it up to court and your appraiser will probably be able to do it then for you.
Right,
That's
but
what you need to.
right, the burden, and it,
Spend it on one now.
I understand that, but it's a shame that, especially for the people on fixed income and retired, that the burden of proof is on them. You guys are the ones coming out, giving this grading, we have no idea who did the grading, it's a CPE. I asked, can the CPE be there during the appeal so we could ask questions? No. Flood zones are another thing that should be accounted for, that some people are calling and have to get that updated. Blight, we were told that was gonna be considered. Apparently that's not gonna be.
I've been telling people to take pictures outside your doors.
Right, but apparently that's not good enough, I mean.
No, that's not true. But boards can take into consideration your surrounding areas. That is not true.
Okay,
You
so,
can take a picture out if
so,
you've got.
so I could compare my neighbor's house to mine.
If your neighbor's house is blighted and falling apart,
Yeah.
you take a picture of it,
Right.
that affects your value.
Okay, but then I can't compare it to somebody that has more square footage, more land and a nicer house that's paying $60,000 less of an assessed value. I can't do that, but
See, because what's in your assessed value.
it's $60,000 less and
Taxes,
they have more than me.
are they paying less in taxes?
Yes,
Well, he comes up with.
okay. Also, just, if I have two things quick. What formulas did Vision use? I think the public should be privy to that. And Boots, I see yours is only, the new appraisal, new assessment is 118,000. And mysteriously, it's still the same old pick on the camera card. There was no update, so I don't know if that was just conveniently skipped or this is gonna be followed up
It's
on.
a red farmhouse.
Yeah, but it's the same pick that's been there
It's a
for,
red, it's a, well, it's the same.
so did they come out or?
The sign was put in 1972, it's been painted 3 times.
I'm not worried about that. I'm saying, everybody else's picture was updated, information was updated, yours wasn't, and you're only at 118,000. So I'm just trying to check, when we were able to compare people's, that just threw up a red
It
flag.
was built in 1850 and well, so the Civil War, okay? It's an old farmhouse.
Any other public comment?
Melinda Diver, North Manor Township. Good morning. Okay, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. Maybe there's other people that might have something to say about the reassessment. I'm not gonna discuss that today. Wondering, does the county have a complaint form? So like say someone from the public comes in and they're trying to do business with a particular office, whatever office it may be or department within the courthouse or the county complex, and they're rudely treated by a staff member or,
We brought this up once, somebody brought this up once before, and we said, all you have to do is write out the complaint and hand it in to either the county administrator or HR. I think we.
so there's not, but there's not a
official
set form.
because it could be a myriad of things could be the complaint. So you
Yeah.
can write it out and just hand it in. Because it could be a,
And then what happens? What happens to those?
like I said, be investigated. And be looked into.
We address every complaint, yes.
So if they're, just write it out.
Are they kept on file then?
No,
They're not kept on file. So say you have a problematic employee that has a recurring pattern of rude behavior, whether that's in person or over the telephone, and they're treating the taxpayers who pay their salary
okay, hold on.
in a rude manner.
Have we gotten any complaints or maybe- I don't know.
Well, they don't know, they don't keep them. So how can you
No, I
track
mean, I
that?
haven't got anything lately, that I don't know.
No.
Okay, if you have a complaint on somebody, Linda, just write out a complaint and give it to them. Instead of.
So you don't think that those types of things need to be tracked to show that someone could have a history of this type of behavior?
I'm sure,
Excuse me, if there's discipline in order, then it would be personal, but, so yeah.
Yes, there is.
Would be tracked. If there would be a disciplinary action,
They don't-
it would be in their file.
Okay, we need to get our story straight because Gary
No,
Bender
you
is saying
have to-
that they're
Hold
not
on,
kept
don't
on
start-
file.
don't start again. The complaint form, if somebody files a complaint, it's investigated. If it's not founded, they probably don't keep it. But if it's something founded and they have a disciplinary issue over it, it is put in their personnel jacket, I guess. Or kept on record that, yes, there was a complaint made and it was founded and this was the disciplinary action. So is that what you mean?
Who makes the determination whether something is founded?
Whoever investigates, it, depending on what.
Who investigates any complaints?
It would be HR, and depending if, on what type of complaint it is, it could be HR, it could be, under the consent decree, we have investigators now that handle specific things. It could be the courts, it could be, it just,
A department head or,
it could be a department head, because it depends on which department it is, yes.
okay,
That's where it would start.
so it kind of sounds like maybe we keep up with them, maybe we don't.
Well, if you have a
I got
complaint
it.
on somebody, write the complaint out and hand it in. Because that's what you're getting at. You have a complaint on somebody,
Do I?
I believe so, and just write it out and hand it in.
Maybe I'm standing up here speaking for someone
Well,
else who
they-
works
well,
during the week and can't be
well,
here
they-
for 10 o'clock.
They should fill out a complaint form,
There is no complaint form, Larry.
write out the complaint on a piece of paper, Melinda, and send it in. Mail it in. There's mail.
And I will advise anybody who wants to fill out a complaint that they make a copy, keep a copy of it on file, and then they follow up, what, a month, 2 months later to see what transpired with their complaint?
I guess so.
Okay, thanks. Okay, when job openings come up, are those first posted internally, or you try to hire internally? Or as soon as a job opening comes up, is it posted on the board out there? How does that work?
I think some of the times they're offered internally, and then sometimes they're posted. Hey, I'm not the HR person.
Wow,
It depends on what position it is and what office it is.
What office it is, but they are posted. They're posted internally and they're posted on websites.
okay, when you say internally, what does that mean?
Well, it's posted on our bulletin boards. So
So anyone from the public would be, so it's not really internally, it could be anybody that is doing business in the courthouse and sees the opening.
well, then you have the factors of the unions too. And I'm sure you're well aware of that. That if it's an AFSCME position, an AFSCME union person will get that position.
They get first opportunity.
They get the first
Right.
opportunity.
Because they can bump somebody that has seniority or whatever,
10 or
they can,
12 days. That's what I'm saying. It varies from non-union to union to, if it's an appointed position, if it's thing, there's variations, more than you know that from being the controller, like when you were a controller.
all kinds of things have changed since I've been up here, Larry. All kinds of things have changed. So yet again, it seems like we're not consistent.
Yes, we are. You just look for stuff to pick on because.
I'm asking a
You
question.
ask questions though.
I'm asking
No, you-
simple
you ask
questions.
You ask how stuff's supposed to be answered, that's not good enough for you. When I was here, it was this way, I was that way. Things change, that's life. We post them.
Well, you're telling me I ought to know because I was once the county controller. You're acting like I need to know everything.
Stop yelling.
You're yelling. I'm trying to be heard over you. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Yeah.
Go, hold on, Charlene Joe's gonna go.
No, no, no,
Oh,
no,
go
no.
ahead.
He's like, oh, shit, for public comment?
Yeah, public comment.
Please allow it.
I know you're a little scared,
Don't be scared.
especially after that.
After that, yes.
All right. Okay. All right. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Charlene Hoffman, and with me I have.
Hello, Hayden.
Wow. So as you know, I wear many hats. I work for a private company, as a trust officer. I serve in the community as a tax collector. I try to do my best. But one of the things I'm very passionate about is my roots. My roots is coming from a farming background. And, next week is our Schuylkill County Fair, right? Okay. So does anybody know, I'm gonna try to shorten this because I'm long-winded, but does anybody know why we have the Schuylkill County Fair and what the roots and what we're trying to instill upon the fair next year?
Agriculture, farming, and 4-H and involvement of the children.
Very good, Larry, thank you.
So
That
I do
is,
know some things.
yes, yes. So, and we have a lot of support from people in the county, and we thank you for that. And I wanted to ask Haven a few questions, if I may. Haven, what will you be doing next week at the fair? Starting on Saturday, what will you be doing? And what will you be doing on Saturday with check-in? Where will you be working?
In the vegetable check-ins.
Okay, and what she means by that is on Saturday, we have we will be checking in all the fair entries on Saturday. So we ask everybody to come out, have fun, show what you've been working on all year, whether it's arts and crafts, baking, or all the kids involved with agriculture and raising their 4-H animals. will be
11 to
there.
3, right? 11 to 3 for.
11 to 3, we expect to see you there.
I'll buy you corn down on Saturday morning.
Right, Boots is usually puts in, a couple years ago, he had some winning Indian corn, I believe, in corn and different things like that from his farm. And we really appreciate all your support and everything like that. And I appreciate that, the background is 4-H. During the evenings when the fair is open, you guys can come out and have some fun with food, rides, and seeing some shows. During the day, the 4-Hers are out there strutting their stuff, showing their livestock.
Sale?
We have thank you. On Thursday night, we have a livestock auction. And what that means is the kids are going to be out there asking for people within the community to come out and purchase and bid on their animals and possibly buy one. It is a support back to the 4-H and the farm programs, and we appreciate that. So please come on out, support agriculture, support your friends in the community, and have fun. And we thank you for your time.
Fair runs Saturday through Saturday, right?
It actually, entry day is Saturday.
Right.
Okay, Sunday is judging day, it's closed to the community, all of them are getting ready, getting their animals ready, and then it opens on Monday at 4 o'clock.
Monday through Saturday,
Monday through Saturday.
$5 admission, no parking.
That is correct, thank you, and we need volunteers, and if I can, may I ask, our fair is run by 100% of volunteers in the community. We give our time all year long, and for that, I think they deserve a pat on the back, but we don't ask for it.
The Fairs
We do it
Association.
because it's important to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other public comment?
She's so cute. Very good.
Morning.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. My name is Attorney Joseph Nahas, and I'm here on behalf of the Register of Wills Office, where I serve as solicitor. Very tough act to follow here this morning, that young lady. She certainly brightens this room. Unfortunately, I have a reputation of darkening rooms, so I don't want to do that this morning with such a beautiful young lady. The reason why I'm here, first off, is I like to say that I see people coming here. I've never spoke at one of your meetings before. Hopefully never have to again. I've been practicing law for decades. What I come to find is unfortunately, people come to these meetings to tell you what's you're doing wrong. And they tell you, feel like you're handling your positions correctly, that apparently you're making too much money, and they find fault with everything you do.
Yeah.
I'm here to say, I would disagree with those individuals.
And attacking the.
I'm here to say
personal
that,
family.
I'm here to say that I think that you are doing a very good job for very little pay and very little reward. And that's all three of you. I know some of you very well. I don't know all of you very well. But when I see the jobs that you're doing, you're never going to please everybody being commissioner. It's very difficult. You're going to make enemies on a daily basis. Trust me, I've been doing that for many years. And it's not easy. But I will commend you on the record and in public that I think that all three of you truly do have the county at its best interest. I really do. And it may be difficult. It's difficult to do assessments. It's difficult to do these things. But I think you're doing a good job. It's only one opinion. You probably don't hear it enough. But just want to let you know that I am appreciative of what you do here for the citizens of Schuylkill County. With that said, being a public official, unfortunately, opens you up to criticism. And Larry, I'm not here to placate you. You know, I'll tell you when I think you're not doing something wrong, or right, I should say, or when you're doing something wrong. But I think you handle people remarkably well, especially people that come here on a daily and or weekly or monthly basis and continuously spat things that there is no factual basis for, there's no evidence to support. For instance, this morning I was only standing here for a few minutes and I heard an individual simply speak of salaries and salaries of public officials. Okay. They were off by over $10,000 and they said, well, you know, I'm close. No, I'm not close. $10,000 is a significant amount of money, or more, $13,000 in some cases. And I see you handling at these meetings individuals on a monthly, weekly basis. And you do so with a certain form of, I think, calmness about you that I certainly don't possess. And it's quite remarkable because I don't have the patience and could not really be in the role of any of you. Unfortunately, I'm here this morning because we have a situation, and I went back, and I don't come to your meetings, but I've been watching your meetings via Facebook and other forms of social media. What I've noticed is time and time and time again, an individual is no longer here, Mr. Dunkel, has been lambasting, degrading, harassing, haranguing individuals of government continuously. Now, unfortunately, as public officials, as elected officials, you must be subject to certain questioning. And the public is entitled to do that constitutionally. And I know you all know that. And you handle it well. Comes with the job, guys. Okay. I don't have to be subject to that. I'm not in government, but you do. And it's the role you take. But even all of you, your family members do not have to be subject to that. Your family members do not have to be subject to that. Your family members did not take on the role of an elected official. Okay? You did, but your children didn't, your wives didn't, okay? And your mothers and fathers, if they're still on this earth, did not. What I'm seeing here out of Mr. Dunkel on a weekly, monthly, daily basis is, and I want you to look at the totality of the circumstances, is a systematic approach of attack that's completely baseless. Particularly on my client, Ms. Gaffney, and her staff. If you want to see an office that's extremely well run, that their books are all in line, that it's, I mean, nothing's flawless in this world. You guys aren't flawless. We are not flawless, I'm sure. But if you want to see an office that's well run, and that's really here, like you might hear complaints about people maybe not being professional or maybe not acting appropriately to individuals, that's not that office. What I've noticed here is, and again, I want you to look at the totality of circumstances, not just one in particular comment or one in particular meeting. And this goes for you as well, because as I speak to you, I speak to you as a whole, as elected officials. Yes, you unfortunately are subject to criticism. Sorry, that's the way it goes. Okay, and I know you take it. You guys have big shoulders. It's admirable. But here's what you're not subject to. You're not subject and cannot be subject to continuous amounts of haranguing, harassment, and to the point of psychological terror. Ms. Gaffney, at this stage right now, as we sit here today, she would have liked to have come up and speak to you herself. She's too upset to do so. She is literally physically spent from Mr. Dunkel. Now, why is that? It appears that Mr. Dunkel has stalking, actually looking to see where vehicles are, is trying to gain security access to when she comes into the courthouse, and has on a monthly, weekly, daily basis, with no evidence to back any of his bald accusations, harangued her to the point where she's becoming physically ill, terrified of this individual. As a public official, again, you are subject to criticism. I'm not here to criticize anybody today, but who knows, maybe next week I will be. But the point is this, there's a fine line between criticism and harassment. There's a fine line between criticism and stalking. There is. And what I'm asking all of you today is as simply as this, is to go back and review the history. You have and I mean this, you have a very capable staff. I look at your staff here, I look at your solicitor, you have a remarkable legal team, and you have remarkable people supporting you as commissioners. What I'm asking you today, though, is I'm asking you to protect an elected official. I'm asking you to look at whether or not the conduct that one individual has continuously conducted himself in has breached the line between a concerned public person who's looking out for the best interest of the community, or whether now it's something more, whether now it has become an obsession. Whether,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize, and I apologize, I didn't know, I don't wanna, may I have one more minute, I'll wrap it up, I'll just wrap it up, thank you.
Sorry.
Ms. Hustler. No, that's fine. I like all of you if you can collectively, and not just for one individual, Ms. Gaffney and her staff, but for everyone involved. I've dealt with I had a client recently who worked for the Pottsbury School District. And Mr. Dunkel, he is a no holds barred kind of fellow. He'll state baseless stuff on everybody. He made a comment on this individual who worked for the district, and it was completely baseless. Now, he's not a public official. These are things that we'll look at collectively. But what I'm asking is if you would, and I know you have a lot on your plate, my God, do you ever? What I'm asking you if you would collectively, as government officials, to look at whether or not this conduct is beyond the pale of normal citizen concern, which I believe it is. And what I'm asking for is for protection, whereby one can come to work every day, do their job for the citizens of Schuylkill County, and for all of you, for all of us, and do so in a non-alarming manner, because it's come to the point where Ms. Gaffney has become terrified of this individual. And it appears to me to be completely baseless. And I'm very sorry if I ran over that. It certainly wasn't my intention. And it really was a pleasure, being able to speak to all of you this morning. You certainly don't have to comment, but if you can, maybe collectively look at this matter, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Move on with the meeting. Right. Oh, Sam, sorry, oh God, how could I forget you were here? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, how could I forget Tim was here?
Right. Yeah, obviously I've been attending the last commissioners meeting each month, which is this is the last meeting this month. But I will also be at every additional commissioners meeting between now and when the formal appeals deadline passes and as needed to help answer questions. In that context, I want to make sure that the most important thing I want to communicate today are things that are going to help property owners through this process. I had 8 questions the other day from a member of the public that were all useful and constructive, and I was quick to turn around and provide that information and encourage it to be disseminated on social media or in communication with the press to try to do the same kind of thing. Number 1, the appeal deadline for the notices that were mailed July 1 is August 11th. If you want your property looked at before tax bills take effect next year with that number, you must file the paper. Just fill it out, your parcel number, and sign that you're appealing it. All you got to do is file that piece of paper by the 11th, have it in the assessment office or postmarked in order to have your options and your rights. Number 2, a formal appeal is not a court proceeding. I'm seeing questions about lawyers and depositions and subpoenas, and it is an administrative appeal before a panel of local residents serving as auxiliary or primary appeal boards. It is not a court process. You do not need an attorney. There is no cross-examination. There is no depositions. The burden of proof is on the property owner under the law, but that just means that you are supposed to present your opinion of value and evidence to arrive at that conclusion of value. But I want to point something out that the county commissioners, the assessment office, and Vision have been doing collaboratively to make this even easier for people. There are two kinds of formal appeals that we're going to see. Number one is the person that comes in, they know what their value is, they have a recent appraisal, or they've done comparable sales studies, and they are coming in with sales of similar properties, not similar assessments or different assessments. That's not evidence of value under the law. So the first kind of appeal is a market-based appeal. I'm challenging the value. You guys think it's worth $285,000? The appraisal says it's only worth $200,000. You bring that to the appeal, and the boards are going to look at that. They're going to look at the appraisal. They have lowered the bar on the requirements for that, so you can bring old appraisals. If the appraisal's 2-3 years old, you can still bring it. The boards will still look at it. It just, the value isn't as useful, but the information in the appraisal is. So that's the first kind of appeal. Most property owners in this county are probably not set up, equipped, or have time to do that kind of an appeal. We were ramped up at Vision to do 10, 15,000 informal reviews. We had 3,500. 3,500 properties came before us to review their physical description. Now, maybe that's because they looked at it on the internet and they reviewed it in advance and they felt that it was right. And we did make sure everybody knew we can't debate value at an informal review. We aren't allowed. We can't make changes to some of the subjective judgments that my appraisers did at an informal review. We can make changes to those at a formal appeal. So this is the second kind of formal appeal that we're gonna see. I've said from the very beginning, the very first meetings, then the regional meetings, tell us what about your property is unique or that would affect a buyer's opinion of value. If that house looks a certain way from the outside and it looks like it's average condition and it fits a certain grading rule that we have, then that's where it's going to start. But if you've never done anything to that house, if it was built in the 60s and it has never had any renovation at all, furnaces, kitchens, interior, windows, roofs, nothing, well, then we probably have it coded too high, and the boards can hear that. Obviously, if you didn't go to an informal, there might be square footage issues or classification issues if you have a commercial property. We may have coded it as retail for starters, but you're going to bring information to us about what the layout is of the building and the structure. And the appeal board can say, you know, it's retail, but we have multiple codes for retail. So the point is, there are descriptive things about the property that I encourage people to present. If you attach it to the appeal form, the assessment office, backed up by my staff, is reviewing that before the hearing. Because you might show up at your formal appeal or get a phone call from the assessment office that says, we looked at your property after you filed this piece of paper. You know, there's no appraisal attached or anything. You filed the piece of paper, assessment office may call you and say, we looked at your property information and we agree that the condition isn't what we thought it was, or the sketch needed to be adjusted. You had an informal review or you didn't. A second look at properties that present additional information in advance is occurring so that we can offer to property owners the ability to withdraw their appeal and not bother having a hearing if one isn't really needed. And if it is still needed, 15 minutes goes by awfully fast. That's all the longer an appeal is, which is why I always tell people, either come in and be ready to talk about value or be ready to talk about your parcel. You cannot appeal my codes. I don't think it should be a D+4 or I don't think that, you cannot appeal the data or the coding or the methodology or the formulas and all of these are all interesting things. And the appeal boards are getting training. We did some training for the lawyers and the attorneys and the realtors in the county. So they would understand more about it, but I can't teach somebody to be a licensed CPE. And frankly, that would be a distraction during their 15 minutes before the board. That's why I want people to focus on the things that will help them. Was talking with a property owner recently that presented information about their property, and I said, you should present that to the appeal board. Or put it in writing and provide it with your appeal form so assessment can review it. Now, this particular person is already getting a $1,600 tax reduction. $1,600 every year paid too much and has been paying that forever. But maybe that value is still too high. And based on what was presented at an appeal or through this review, it may get adjusted. The goal isn't to have the values high. People think that this is a revenue grab. It's not legally allowed to be that. You've heard me say, revenue neutral. There's no loss to the tax base from a money standpoint when there are reductions at formal appeals or pre-formal reviews that doesn't cost any taxing body any money. And here's another thing. You might say, yeah, but those estimates you put out are bull because you're going to end up having all these reductions and it's going to make those estimates wrong. False, wrong. I already baked into those estimates when I calculated them that there would be reductions from appeals and from clean and green reduction. So focus on either what it's worth or what's special about it. Good, bad, or indifferent. That's the biggest tip that I can give to folks. We only have about 1,000 parcels appealed so far. Now that's a lot for an annual year. Out of 92,000 parcels in the county, that's barely 1%. We're expecting between now and August 11th, that number to triple or 4 times that. And the county's ramped up and expecting that. But there's not actually that many people challenging their values yet. That, in some respects, no disrespect to assessment, we don't want to do the work. They don't mind. I'm disappointed more people aren't going through the process because there are things about mass appraisal where the values are based on defaults. They're based on assumptions that the condition inside is average. And we need people to tell us when that's not true. That's mass appraisal. No fee appraiser can visit, George, every property in the county. It would cost the county $40 million and take 100 years to do a fee appraisal times 92,000 parcels. It just doesn't work. And that's why that's not allowed under the law. This is the process. So that's my main focus. I have 2 other things. On the website, was posted there a couple of weeks ago, there is a study done by Alan Dornfest, who's an expert from the International Association of Assessing Officers. It's right on the reassessment page. That study, and by the way, he did the study when the county was fighting the reassessment. He looked at the old values, so he's very familiar with this. He looked at the new values that we mailed. We weren't quite done with the informal reviews, so things changed a little bit after that. But he looked at those values with an eye towards one thing. Statistically, does this reassessment meet standards of what it's supposed to? And his conclusion was, yes, it does. When you dig into the details, it's a 100-page document maybe. There are areas that are borderline or don't have a lot of sales. That's expected, that's normal. But overall, the 3 big takeaways from his study were, number 1, the values are near 100% of what they're selling for. Now, we can't use the sales from 2018. I watched last week's video. That's not legal. It's a neat idea maybe, but an appraiser has to use current sales to get a present day value. And the court mandated that this reassessment be effective for 2026 and on current values. So that's not an option. We had to use the sales from the last several years. His study uses those same sales. He confirmed that our values are not artificially high or artificially low. He also determined that that over 40% average error that I talked about at the public meetings is now down less than 20. In many cases, closer to 15 or 10. That means that the $1,600 person paying too much we don't have those wild disparities anymore. And future reassessments will just make that better and better. It also confirmed that we weren't low on the expensive properties, high on the less expensive. Our vertical equity is balanced. Read the study. If you've got questions about it, those of you in the media or others that have my email, you're welcome to reach out to me. But that is the evidence that the commissioners got before they authorized these notices to go in the mail. Because if that study had come back that it did not meet international standards, they'd have been talking about issues with vision and looking at a postponement on this whole project, which would have just allowed things to stay wrong for another year. The second thing I want to give you a heads up is this. 30-year-old values were used until 26. That's true for both the market value and the clean and green values. Every year, the state publishes new clean and green values. So I'm speaking to the several thousand property owners that are in clean and green. You know who you are. Your clean and green values changed along with everything else because we brought them up to the most recent values we had at the time. And when we mailed the preliminary values back in March, April timeframe, we used those numbers we had from the state. New numbers are now available. They've been verified, QC'd, audited, compared, and they are lower than the numbers that we presently have on the parcels. So rather than wait till next year, because honestly, if they go down again in the future, the county has to, you can't have values higher than the most recently published. You have to implement sometime between July and November each year, new clean and green numbers when they come out, if they're less. We have new numbers, they are less. The forest land rate went from 80, it went down $4. So not a huge thing. The open land rates went down 5–10% depending upon the soil. I forget the exact, it's a range. So it's not a huge effect on those property owners, but it will be a reduction. And when we bill on it next year, the new numbers that came out will be used. So those of you in clean and green, that clean and green estimate will actually be even a little lower than what we have on it right now. If you have questions about that, you can reach out to me or the assessment office.
How can you verify when the final numbers go through them?
We could put them on the web earlier.
No, I'm just saying, at what point, if someone wants to go and see what they're.
No later than November 15th, when we finish the formal appeals, all of it will be updated, both on the web and.
What I'm saying is if you have a clean and green property, well, in every case, it might go down a fraction, it might go down to $10.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and we will batch change all of those values under the hood. So that if you've got a property that's all forested, instead of it being, I forget the number, I think it was 86 went down to 82 or something like that. Instead of it being $86 an acre anymore, it's $82 an acre. And your value might go down a couple $1,000s in a large tract. Okay. Any questions from the previous comments that you want to address while I'm here? I can take any questions from the group, but otherwise, we have training for the appeal board members next week, and appeals start on the 6th of August. Again, they are an administrative process. If people aren't happy with the result, they can go to common pleas if they show up. You don't show up or you withdraw, you don't get to go to common pleas. But common pleas is where you would want to have a lawyer and by then you'd want to have an appraisal. At this point, you don't need appraisals. Just remember what I said about the two methods of appeal. Either you're targeting the value, I don't think it's worth this, and here's the sales to back me up. Or you're targeting, telling us what about your property makes it special. And then let the appeal board and the assessor in the room use the computer to make uniform standard adjustments. And I'll finish with this point. The appeal boards will not make adjustments without there being a reason to. We have uniform information. It's not always accurate. Some of the properties, we're gonna learn things, you know, that they're not average condition, or they're not, the quality isn't what we thought it was. The boards are gonna learn stuff, and they are going to make changes. But if nothing is different, if everything is described correctly, just because they like you, they're not gonna give you a reduction. So, I'm not discouraging people from going through the process. I want people to go through the process. And we are gonna do this pre-hearing, pre-formal appeal review on as many of them as we can.
And I encourage everybody to appeal, even if your taxes went up or down, like you talked about the person that their taxes went down $1,600. If they think their value's still wrong, that person should still appeal if they think that value's wrong. If you think even if your taxes went down, if you think your value's still wrong, I encourage everybody to appeal.
Once you have that evidence, right?
You have that evidence, but there is people, their taxes went down and they still think their value's high. You know what I mean? Like Tim brought the example up as that person. If you think your value's too high, you should appeal, if you have evidence.
Larry, he said we can ask him a question.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah, just,
One thing, when, a realtor, they're looking at a property, are they looking at what's on the computer already? Or are they looking at the recent condition of the home? Now, when I looked at a certain amount of homes, and I think mine was included, I noticed it was like in fact, I think mine went all the way back to 1978. Okay, and I wonder if that's what you're looking at and saying if your house is worth that or not worth that, and what condition and everything. They're just looking at that picture that's in the computer, and that's it, alone. Now, I'm talking real. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll give a quick answer. An appraiser is gonna visit the property.
Yes.
They're gonna take their own pictures, they're gonna do their own verification of the data. A realtor who's doing a comparative market analysis is gonna base that on information from the Realtor.com website, multi-list. They might look at the assessment records. You could ask one of them what they do. I'm probably a little bit different. A realtor can't give an opinion of value, only an appraiser can. A realtor can do a study though and help you find properties that are sold in your area.
Close to it.
A realtor doing that is only gonna look at sales that are recent. They're probably not gonna go back 3 years like mass appraisal does. But they're gonna look at recent sales. They're not gonna use sales from 2018, and they're not gonna go outside the area. They're gonna stay in the area. They're not gonna compare buy levels to one stories because they don't sell the same. So that process, they might use some of the existing assessment information. They're not gonna go out and visit the property.
I know you can't answer it personally, but I'm just wondering if that's what a realtor is doing. Are they just, if that picture is from 50 years ago, and they're looking at that, and that's what they're saying, well, I think your value is
Well,
that, because they're going by the dimensions and everything else.
Every property, by the way, was visited, and every property was photographed. And I'm gonna make sure that the website isn't missing, Commissioner Hetherington's picture. You know, we have a picture of his property in the computer.
I've been in my house since 1972.
But there is a new picture on every property, and maybe some of them aren't showing up on the web, and we can look at the technical issues. But yeah.
I said the color of my house changed in between since 96.
Well, the old pictures are still in the computer, but we took new pictures of every parcel.
Okay.
Are they on all?
There's a lot of pictures, not.
It's only the most recent picture, only the quote primary picture is on the website, because that's how the website works. But if the most recent picture isn't marked as primary in the computer, then the one we would want on the web might not be on the web. And if that's brought to our attention, we go click it and say, make the most recent one. There might be 3 pictures of the front of the house. Which is the best view to see the front of the house? That's called the primary picture, and that's the one that shows on the web. But
There's a lot of them that say no image available, and it's a stock photo for a lot of parcels.
yes, that might be that there's nothing marked primary, and if somebody brings that to our attention, we will correct.
I haven't heard of proof always.
I'll check them.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the meeting. Let's approve the minutes from our July 9th meeting.
So move, Mr. Chairman. Second.
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve the July 16th minute meeting?
So moved.
Meeting.
Second.
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yeah.
The motion to approve what was presented by the grant writer at our work session.
So moved. Second.
The question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
The motion to approve what was presented by adult probation at our work session.
So moved. Second.
The question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
The motion to approve what was presented by children and youth at our work session.
So moved. Second.
The question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve what was presented by the Office of Senior Services at our work session?
So moved. Second.
The question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
The motion to approve what was presented by drug and alcohol at our work session.
So moved. Second.
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
The motion to approve what was presented by engineering at our work session.
So moved the change orders. Second.
Question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Can I approve the, can I motion to approve the treasurer's report that was presented at our work session?
So moved. Second.
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Personnel?
Morning. Personnel has, children and youth, a promotion of Patricia Sleva to a clerk typist 3 at an hourly rate of 18.4613, effective 7/21/25. Office of Senior Services, we have 2 appointments, one for Amy Newton and one for Claudia Moyer as aging care managers at an hourly rate of 19.72. And Amy will be effective on 8/11/2025, and Claudia on 8/18/2025. In 911, we have a transfer of John Craig to a telecommuter per diem at a rate of $20, effective 7/28/25. In informational, we have coroner's office and appointment of Vanessa Mack as deputy coroner investigation, effective 7/28/25. And in public defender, an appointment of Shane Hobbs as a part-time public defender, effective 9/2/25. All appointments are pending drug testing physical, and all actions involving salary for positions being created are pending salary board approval.
And a motion for 4 appointments and transfer of promotion for the human resources committee.
So moved. Second.
The question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Financial?
Commissioners, we have 2 items. One is from risk management. The first is the budget adjustment for informational purposes only. We're allowing for the transfer of $13,300 from the budget in order to provide for risk management litigation that can come forward. And the second is on behalf of court administration. This is a supplemental budget appropriation for which we ask for approval. This is to allow for the expansion of wellness court to provide for additional state grants that have been received.
And can I have a motion for supplemental budget 2025-12 for wellness work?
I mean, I'll make a motion for the wellness board and for the truck river board, so. Second.
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Any administrator? Anything?
I'll go part of the solicitor.
Good morning, Commissioners. The Solicitor's Office is requesting approval of a resolution of the Schuylkill County Board of Commissioners appointing Calvin Briggs, David Briggs, Ryan Briggs, and Catherine Manning, who are vested with all the duties and powers thereunder for posting and service of all notices and to make personal service required under RETSL, which is the Pennsylvania Real Estate Tax Sale Law, for the 2025 upset tax sale, and filing with the Bureau a written proof of service, setting forth the name of the person served, date, time, and place of service, and attaching a copy of that notice which was served. And we are requesting immediate approval of this.
I'll make a motion for the board of commissioners to approve the, vote for the tax sale on this.
Second, and with a question, that they are elite revenue, are they
Yeah.
financially taken care of that?
Yes, that's correct.
This is per, it's a per diem, or not per diem, but per.
Yeah, they changed it, it's not per diem anymore, it's per
Correct.
service,
They are not
it's not per diem.
employees anymore, but shouldn't these people just be under their own contracts with the per diem? These are technically contractors now.
It's through a league revenue, so now,
They're, you work for legal.
they work for a league. So that's up to, we have to approve it because they're just posting county stuff, but they work for a league.
They're doing additional
We're not
work.
paying them.
No,
No, that's what I asked.
Yeah.
no,
Who was paying?
they work for a league.
Right, yes.
Yes, they're employees.
So because we're handling county material, I have.
Right,
Yeah.
it's, you guys need to approve, we have to have a resolution to approve who
They
is,
can-
who is doing this, that they
Yeah.
have these power.
Thank you.
So we got a second on the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes,
Just a note, there's no, meeting next Wednesday, the following work session will be Wednesday, August 6th. I also want to bring up the same nonprofit that is suing the county in reassessment is now suing the entire state on reassessment. We filed a lawsuit last week against the Governor Shapiro and,
Attorney General.
Attorney General's office that they're not enforcing reassessment and taxation right. And so now the same nonprofit that sued all these counties is now suing the state, so. You know, and what they're saying is that counties should do reassessment more often, and it should come from the state, and it should get funding. And then in the lawsuit, it says we're the last state in the entire country that hasn't fixed reassessment. So they're actually now suing the entire state after suing so many counties, they're now suing the whole state. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Salary board, report of any executive sessions,
There were none held.
public comment for salary board?
Jeff Dunkel, Palo Alto. I understand there were some comments made about me when I stepped out earlier for a couple people. I'll address those later, but seems to be pretty interesting. Again, there are a lot of parcels with no pictures, not just one or two. Also, if you get a full appraisal done and you get an appraiser to come out, and go into your house, they're gonna go over with a fine tooth comb and look at everything. So then we're gonna compare that to comparing it to what Vision has. It's like comparing apples and oranges. So there's no fairness or uniformity in this whole process. As far as people not appealing, that's a shame that there's only 1,000 people so
I
far.
want everybody.
Right. I know a lot of people aren't aware of the process, and I know Josh put a post up, something about a comment. Some people are still asking, how do we go about it? I don't know what else to do. I mean, everybody's posting what they can to get it out there, but there's still some people that don't understand it. People think that they can't afford it, even though there is no cost.
There's no cost.
We send the
It's-
instructions.
Yeah, I've seen people say they didn't have the cost. I've seen a comment that the boards are gonna get commissioned by how much they deny people's appeals. That is completely false.
Well,
It
the
doesn't-
majority, I mean, let's face the facts, so the majority of the people, or a good chunk of the people on the appeals board are involved in real estate. I mean, so that's, I know it's good to have people that are knowledgeable in it,
Yeah,
but to have realtors on there,
because we asked for realtors, contractors, banking people, anybody, like Jeff, you, Melinda, and that, we asked everybody. These are the people that said they wanted to do it.
Right.
You know, so, but they can't do stuff outside the law, they can't.
yeah, but they're not, I mean, they're doing, to me, as a property owner that has these codes, okay, that now they can be changed by assessment, but they can't be changed by the appeals board. These codes are impacting, I know my taxes on 2 properties, definitely. One person determined what code to put on my properties, that on both instances is the only one on the entire block at that rating. Okay, and one block has dozens of properties. I'm the only one with that rating. The other one, there's only 2 houses on the block. I'm the only one with that rating, and that's driving my value up.
And I don't mean this to be disrespectful.
But that can't be appealed.
But you buy houses,
Right,
you fix them up,
right,
you do siding, you do work on them.
right.
So, if the people around you didn't do that, should yours be a better grade?
Neither one of those did I put siding, windows, pavements, nothing,
Yeah,
everything's
not-
been the same exact since.
Okay, I'm just,
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but for instance, I looked at a property yesterday in Gerardville to purchase it, looked good on the front, looked good, I went to the back, the whole back of the house is off, I can show you pictures, there's nothing on the back of the house. That was rated a D plus 10, the same as my house, which I don't understand where they're coming up with these, but the whole back of the house is off. And that's rated the same thing as my house, and then my house is rated higher than everybody else on the block with more land, nicer house, more square footage. I just don't understand how that code can mean so much, but we can't appeal it, and it can't be challenged. I just, I can't fathom it.
the code can be changed if you have evidence of,
But it can't be changed by the appeals, correct?
You
No.
can't appeal the code.
Right.
You can tell the board and the assessor in the room that the back of the house isn't fixed up and nice, because maybe the grade was set based on the street view. So you can present information that can cause the grade, condition, or anything else to change. But you cannot come in and say, I don't like the way it was graded, and so I want you to change a D plus 10 to a straight D. I'm trying to say to people, if you spend 5 minutes debating any of the codes, even if you're using other properties' codes to do it, maybe the other property is graded too low. You're wasting the appeal time if you try to appeal it on.
so what he means, you can't just come in and say, mine's a B and I think it should be a D and because of, well, you gotta come in and show pictures that, hey, you have mine rated as A. And like, here's, the windows aren't replaced, here's the back of the house is a mess.
Right.
Evidence, and then the CPA, right, the person there with them on the computer, they can change the grade by that, but you can't just appeal it on, nothing but grade.
And if it helps, the 30-second in. Grade is a measure of the quality of materials used to build a house, the quality of workmanship when it was originally built, the architectural design, so fancier roof lines and porches make a higher grade, and it's a more generic and it's a lesser influence, but curb appeal, things that affect how it looks from the street, because people pay more for one that looks nice from the street versus one that doesn't. Those are the 4 variables that the licensed CPE considers when deciding which grade code to place on it. If the interior, if one of them, quality material, you build it yourself and you use scrap lumber to do it, and you use the cheapest possible materials throughout the house, we will not know that, and it will be graded too high. And then they can lower the grade at the appeal, but those are the variables that go into grade. Condition's a little more intuitive. That's basically, have you renovated? You put new vinyl siding, new windows, you're improving the condition of the property. And the third piece is the age of the home, which is frankly more significant than grade or condition. How old is the house? It's depreciated. The more it's renovated, the more you bring the depreciation down and make it more valuable. You rehab a house, put in a new kitchen, a new bathrooms, new electrical, new insulation, and new windows. You've taken a 1960s house and you've maybe turned it into a 1980 or a 1990 era house. Those are the 3 major pieces of subjective data that my staff puts on the property. When I tell people they can't appeal those codes, it's because there's very specific rules that we use, that I'm responsible for personally, as to what it's going to be or what it should be. But as we learn from a property owner at a pre-hearing or a informal review to some extent, although our hands are tied more there, or in front of a board, we will be very quick. And I will tell the boards when I provide my class the next week, don't hesitate to change things if you learn stuff that makes it non-average. There's always a reason that it's different, but maybe that reason is based on things that we made assumptions in that appraisal that it's average and things, that's why we encourage people to focus on the things about their property rather than trying to attack the process or the system, because you're not going to prevail at an appeal going down that route, even as a class action. Those always fail because the courts have said there's an administrative process and it's ultimately about what each property would sell for.
Right, but again, those codes weren't made public to the people. They have to do their own homework and dig and find those, where I think that should have been part of the valuation letter, but we'll move on. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here. Lastly, can we expand at all on the litigation for the risk management? What that is for? Normally they give an instance or what court case it's for the extra money litigation.
On the budget adjustment?
13,300.
I think it's probably just like any potential claims that come in. There's nothing that's.
There's no case.
There's no case that's like, no, there's no case that's coming. It's just like,
Okay,
you
so
have to
increase
submit
for the
something,
risk
they
management.
look at it and bill it, but we don't have any
There's
litigation.
nothing going on. Any other public comments, hours work? Okay, let's move on to the meeting. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for July 9th? Second, any question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Controller Yekenship.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve the minute meeting minutes from July 16th?
So moved.
Second?
Any question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Controller Yekenship.
Yes.
Human Resource Office.
Okay, I'd like to start off with the court administration has rescinded the personal actions for Julie Sodal and Meryl Peterman. But we do have two other actions, one for children and youth for a set salary for Patricia Sleva as clerk rank is 3, and her salary is an hourly rate of 18.4613, which is effective 7/21/25. And for 911, a set salary for John Cray, a telecommunicator per diem, at a rate of $20, effective 7/28/25.
Can I have a motion? We can do both of those at the same
Yeah,
time.
one for children, youth, and then 911.
So can I have a motion for children, youth, and then 911 for completion sets of hours?
So moved, sir.
Second?
The question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Controller Yekenship.
Yes.
New business for salary board?
Motion carried.
Thank you.